Waterloo, he was asked, who was the best general of the past, of the present? He answered, in the past, in the present, in the future, Napoleon. He gave him credit where credit was due, and that is commendable. We should give credit where credit is due, and I wish I could give even the minutest bit of credit to Trump right now, but I cannot. What Trump has done is going to have terrifying ramifications for this country and for every country in the world. Trump has thrown all of his allies under the bus. Trump has pledged allegiance to the Kremlin by siding fully with them, with all of their idiotic demands. And I beg anyone who can hear us now to please give me one thing that Trump has done right ever since he became president. One thing, please. I'm begging you. And last, here we are again. You to repeat the same topic again and again. As the world seems to be moving its own way, the senators in the United States are terrified of saying a word against Trump. They're scared. They don't want to call the wrath of this orange goblin who might jump at them and start ruining their lives. They don't want to do that. But my friends, it is time for us, for every person who lives in Europe, for every person who lives in the free world, it's time for us to do some serious soul search, to do some serious research into what we need to be doing next, now that we know for certain we can never, ever again depend on the United States of America. This is the new darkest hour. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. What a time to live in. Am I right? And you know what's funny? You know, a few days ago, Musk released this idiotic tweet. Oh, you know, I'm a fan of Ukraine, but I'm not a fan of World War III. What a funny scumbag, isn't he? What a funny little scumbag. I'm sure Musk has never even studied how World War II began in the first place. It began with appeasement. Appeasement of Hitler. Now we have appeasement of Putin. A far less powerful scumbag than Hitler was back in the day. Chamberlain had made a mistake, grievous mistake. It could be said that every death in World War II can be said to have been caused by that mistake. And yet we don't see Chamberlain being blamed for it because his mistake was due to stupidity. Now, my friends, I'm not sure if this is a mistake due to stupidity. This looks more like a mistake due to greed. The endless greed of Donald Trump himself. Not even of America, because he's not helping America. He's ruining America. It's like make America cease to exist again before it ever began its history. Lovely. What a lovely sight, my friends. Disgusting. Shame. Truly shame. And may no one, and I mean no one, commit the grievous mistake of thinking twice about this topic. This is unequivocally perhaps the worst case scenario. Most likely the worst case scenario that we could have ever hoped for in terms of what Trump could have done. He has thrown under the bus all of his allies. He has thrown under the bus all of the achievements, all of the difficult labor that was hard to get throughout these last few years to box Russia in. Now he opens the cage of the wild beast that estates in human flesh, and he says, gorge yourself, go right ahead. I will encourage our enemies to attack our allies who do not commit enough to their defense. That's what he said. His words, my friends, not mine, and he said this before he became president. Now we reap what we sow, or rather, what the Americans have sown. We're reaping their mistakes. Ridiculous. Could it truly be as such that the American people have grown so stupid, so uninformed, so complacent in their corner in the world that they dare to at the same time tell others what to do, but do nothing in return? Oh yeah, sure, you know, Ukraine, you're not part of the negotiations. But we are going to claim at the same time that we are not going to be bothering with European issues, and we are going to be telling the Europeans what to do in their issues. What sense does that make? Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic, my friend. Trump said a myriad of idiotic things in the last few days. I'm not sure if I will remember all of them. I hope I will remember at least some of them. Perhaps the worst one was when he called Zelensky a dictator. When he said that Ukraine needs an election. Well, first and foremost, my friends, the Ukrainian constitution forbids elections in times of war.
I don't agree.
It forbids it.
I don't know.
Zelensky is not going against the constitution. He is respecting the constitution.
Now,
Secondly of all, a huge amount of Ukrainians have fled Ukraine. A lot of Ukrainians have been captured by the Russians. A lot of Ukrainian children have been robbed from their families. And worst of all, the Russians have never been shy about striking civilian targets. The more people, the better. More people, the more eagerly they strike at those crowds. Now think about it for a second. Now that so many Ukrainians have left Ukraine, fled for their safety, now that the Russians occupy large chunks of Ukraine and hold the people in those parts of Ukraine at gunpoint, now Trump wants an election where people will agglomerate in the places of voting, and then they will be struck down by every missile the Russian terrorist regime has left. What a lovely sight for Trump that would be, wouldn't it? The Russians can at the same time trash talk the Ukrainian regime, although they have never had one legitimate election ever since Putin came to power. And at the same time, they get to destroy and annihilate a large percentage of the Ukrainians who want a free Ukraine, and to scare the rest of the Ukrainians into submission. What a lovely deal! Mr. Trump truly is a master of the deal. Let me tell you, my friends, what a disgusting individual. Trump became bankrupt many times in the past. And you see what's the problem with that? Sometimes it's fanboys, they say, oh, you know what, you recovered. Nonsense. If you bankrupt yourself as an individual, there are ways of bouncing back. If you bankrupt a country, then millions will suffer. Perhaps millions will die when the stakes are as high as with the United States of America. No outcome is beyond the realm of possibility.
I love this movie.
And yet we're playing games with Trump. We see him threaten the Senate, threaten his own people, threaten his opposition, threaten his closest allies, and set ultimatums that are not only unreasonable, but suicidal for the United States of America. And what can be done about this?
And I try to explain.
Very little seems to be done, my friends. Very little is being done right now. Hopefully the United Kingdom increases the rhetoric of condemnation against the current American leader, and hopefully that united collective condemnation from the free world will serve as a lesson for the Orange Goblin in the White House to finally backpedal a little bit on his insane and dysfunctional rhetoric.